And an early moon pearl. Okay. Jawbreaker right away. Meanwhile, both look like they're heading up to do the first part of escape right away.
Totally makes a lot of sense. Get to at least try to do your bomb pull here on the tree, and oh, there's some money.
You know what? I'll take a 20 rupee pull for our this early in the game. It'll help with the bombs, at least if you don't get any on your way to Kakariko. And a full heart, so we'll see both of these runners go ahead and save and quit. We'll see likely on their way over to Kakariko Village to start. So up to this point, SirNiko hasn't done any tree pulls. We'll see if that ends up changing right away. eLmaGus is going to avoid taking a look at the lumberjack ledge. This is I'm not familiar enough with eLmaGus's play on his own. Spider also has 20 rupees. This is not a lot of money from the treasure chest up to this point in time, but a lot of money other ways. And we see the silvers. That's slightly important here. Already in the mushroom spot. So silver's a nice thing to have this early. Not really helpful without the bow, but meanwhile, eLmaGus go ahead and picking up more money from the tree pull. Both of these runners have plenty of money, but none of it has come from treasure chests, which is kind of interesting, all things said. I think I like it just because it allows more variety that's in the treasure chest.
There we go. I think I've got my mic situated.
Welcome back, Mr. Rick.
So what have I missed in the last 3 minutes?
You've missed silver arrows being in the mushroom spot, and then just lots of rupees from the crabs and tree poles. So lots of money for both of these runners, and not having to waste any item locations on money.
Yeah, they can freely buy these bombs and not have to worry about things later on. So, well, I see we're using 2 custom sprites in this run here. Some of the additions from version 27. And it's nice when you have a whole bunch of rupees, because then you can spare this purchase of bombs.
Yep, chat pointing out that we have kind of some radioactive greenness going on here on SirNiko's side, just because of how the colorization works for the green can of Sprite. And it's also worth noting that we have Sprite on the left and Sprite on the right.
Well, the Sprite on your left will quench your thirst.
Meanwhile, the Sprite on the right will make fun of you and call your best friend his wife.
If you're into that. So this should be a really good matchup between these two, and I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be a close match. And we do get early bottles, too.
Always nice to get a couple early bottles. Able to route the sick kid in right together with this. healthy seeds so far. We've seen a few different full heart containers up to this point in time, so just lots of love.
Yeah, 7 hearts at this point is a very nice find. You know, these runners have the talent to pull off with less, but getting 7 hearts will allow you to be a little more aggressive in your combat.
You know, I've never played around with the sprite can sprite. I'll be interested to see what happens with blue and red mail with it.
Hey,
And
Sick Kid has a sword.
so he's sick because he cut himself.
No, he was trying to solve the world's problems, the Hyrulean evil problems here, and unfortunately caught a cold off the mountain, so he's now wanting Link to be the master.
Is that what I thought I saw on the library ledge?
What do you think you saw on the library ledge?
I believe I saw the flute.
Well, we're
Or
telling
flips.
flippers. Yep, we're being told flippers.
It was something blue.
Something bothered?
eLmaGus took a chance to go ahead and do the maze game and only gets rewarded with a big 20.
Yeah, not a great reward coming out of that game, but eLmaGus will go ahead and do the save and quick. Go to, looks like heading over to Hyrule Castle now.
And
We
our
get our
first
map
map
check.
check.
So we see a green panda over at Eastern, right?
Yep, and then the 5 crystal was down at Desert, and another, I think it was the 2 crystal that was up at Tower of Hera. So we have at least our green pendant location.
Getting the green pendant now means Eastern Palace with a bow could turn into be an interesting. What does Sarashula have?
Always nice to see the green pendant kind of in a location close to Sahasrara anyway, just because you're right there. And Magus pulls the book.
Hey, literacy percent. Right now, that book, the only use for it is to get into Desert. That's the only purpose of that book at this point. And SirNiko trying to grab some rupees. I think I know where SirNiko's going to be going after the mini Moldorm cave.
Seems logical. You have the moon pearls, so it makes it a little bit easier to fake flipper up that direction to not only check that waterfall cave, but also, as you point out, get Zora.
A nice quick use of the spinning technique to kill off the final Moldorm for SirNiko. 20 rupees, 50 rupees, so... Oh, okay.
Boots.
We get the boots.
That seems to be pointing even more over to the desert location between book and boots. Still no lift upgrades, so you won't be able to clear it out, but certainly we'll be able to get most of the treasures there.
Well, you're able to get at least 1 guaranteed treasure now, if not the 2. We get the map check on eLmaGus now as well. So getting the boots there also now makes the Ice Rod Cave a must-go-to for SirNiko.
A lot easier to do it when you have some sort of travel assistance, flute, or the boots. eLmaGus is going to be heading that direction too, it looks like.
Also getting the boots there also means that you could set up if you really want to. SirNiko's not going to do it. If you wanted to, you could do the water dash.
This is true. Chat also pointing out that if SirNiko wanted to do the fake flipper routing, it's not technically a sequence break right at the moment because he knows exactly where the flippers are and they're boot locked.
Guess where he's going now after he checks this first spot.
eLmaGus looks like is immediately going to go over and check to see what Agina has in his cave. Maybe do a desert check.
Ooh. Now this could turn out to be a problem if it turns out that the items are behind the boot block.
Absolutely. That could not be a good play for eLmaGus, but he doesn't know where the boots are.
Oh, hammer!
By itself, you know what? That's pretty solid choice there.
There's value there.
Nico picking up his flips in the meantime.
But again, the question is, will eLmaGus have to double back here to get any of the items? Now, we know that this is not a beatable dungeon. And if there's something good on that torch, or even if it's a key that leads to an item, that is where SirNiko would have the advantage at this point.
Although, it's worth noting, SirNiko's actually
Magic
routing away.
Cape.
That's not looking good for eLmaGus. I think he's going to just go right down, get his hammer, and call it a day.
He has to at this point because we now know that either the small key or the big key is on that torch. Therefore, this is not a beatable dungeon without the boots. Well, there's still not a beatable dungeon with the boots, but anything else that's in this dungeon is behind the boot block. So eLmaGus is going to go ahead and grab the hammer. Now head on over to Agina. What does Agina have today?
It'll be interesting. We're seeing a cape. I don't like seeing an early cape at this point in time because at this point, we might be pointing over to an Aghanim required seed.
You shut your mouth.
I will not, sir.
You shut your mouth. And we're down to just a few spots right at this point where this fabled lamp could be, by the way.
It could be. We haven't seen much of an Eastern check to see what Sahasrara and is in Eastern Palace itself.
Well, at this point in time, gloves would make Aghanim no longer required. People asking in chat, what is SirNiko's Sprite? It's a can of Sprite. There's your glove.
Oh, that's going to be important.
But before SirNiko goes to the Dark World, he's going to be checking the back 3 of Escape. Now, we have not seen the small key yet.
Well, it's worth noting that SirNiko actually doesn't have Dark World access yet. He has not been over to Desert.
Good point.
The hammer.
Good point. Quake, rupees, and the small key.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and dark room over to check this.
Hoping to get lucky by finding something important in that room, and he's going Quake strats. And by doing that, it allows the rats not to be moving all that far. Oh, eLmaGus is setting up the water dash. So what eLmaGus is doing is he's trying to dash along the edge of the ground there in the Ice Rod Cave. What he's going to do is he's going to jump into the water coming up right now, and if this works out, he can dash across this water. No, he did not get it.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen that glitch in effect, so that's interesting to know.
So now he's going to have to go through the what he would say is flake flippers, but he does know where the flippers are. This is just going to get him up to Zora faster than going back to the library. And it's just rupees inside the sewers.
So a little bit of wasted time there for SirNiko, but we'll see where he ends up going at this point.
if you want to see how you could do the water dash, Gamer Cal covers it in some of his videos, so be sure to check them out. We'll see if one of our runners later on in this tournament wants to show us another example of it. So SirNiko now checking over towards the Sarashla and Eastern. Well, what do we got coming up?
This will be interesting. It's going to be more money.
More money, more problems for SirNiko without the hammer.
And looks like SirNiko's actually going to continue routing over there into Eastern. We know, right now, as soon as he goes to Desert, he will have Dark World access, but avoiding that area up to this point in time.
Totally makes sense at this point for him to check this out, because he has not seen where the progression of the seed goes, and for all he knows, this could be going to an Aghanim seed later.
It would be really disappointing to see SirNiko take the risk and go to Aga when it is not necessarily required at this point in time.
Now, eLmaGus now going to be picking up the gloves, and therefore that will give him the knowledge that, hey, you can access the Dark World now. Right now, eLmaGus has Dark World access. SirNiko has not been over to Desert because he hasn't seen the book inside of the escape, so therefore, he does not have Dark World access at this point. He could find the Tinesman in here. All right, Batasia.
Sir.
Let's do this hype cave. What's going to be in here?
You know what? I'm feeling like this is going to be a real hype cave. I'm going to call at least one of the rods in hype cave.
Let's see if you're correct. SirNiko, by the way, in order to get all 3 items inside Eastern, you're going to need the bow. Your thoughts after seeing those items?
I am somewhat disappointed.
Just somewhat?
Just a little something. I mean, Swagnet is absolutely required, don't get me wrong, but...
Map deck, we got Skull and Turtle Rock. Those are your pendant dungeons. The Fire Rod, not necessarily required.
We also saw the 6 crystal over at Pod, so interesting locations for the dungeons here. Good mix.
What do we got over on the pyramid? eLmaGus is going to find out for us right now, and that's the bow. That's the bow. That's huge.
That is significant with both. Let me see. Eastern is still the green pendant, so he may not head over that direction, but Pod, he has the bow and the hammer. That'd make a real logical play at this point, and looks like he's heading right that way.
Version 27. There's a lot of value behind going into Palace of Darkness. This is a case here where it may be very, very valuable for eLmaGus to check inside. And so far, we have not seen anything good inside Eastern Palace. I believe it was just, rupees and a piece of heart?
Yeah, nothing of great amount of value here. SirNiko, meanwhile, looks like on his way over to check Agina's cave. Hasn't gotten that book yet, hasn't done the first part of Escape, so he's going to see the hammer and really lament what's going on here.
Yeah, this is going to be rough routing for SirNiko because he's going to have to double back over here. Because this seed is wanting them to go over and get that hammer from Desert to get Dark World access to come back later.
In version 26 and 27, I've always found it, just follow the seed. It's leading you like breadcrumbs where it wants you to go. Just keep following it.
Sick Kid gave you a sword, and eLmaGus followed that to head into Hyrule Castle, where the book was. That led you over to the hammer, which eventually, with Dark World, with the flippers, got you into the Dark World. So SirNiko now going to go ahead and check escape, and I'm probably guessing what the words are going to be being uttered from him or being thought from him when he opens that first chest.
Well, it's not going to be whatever words he says. They're probably not broadcast appropriate for this particular channel.
I don't think it's going to be broadcast appropriate for many channels. May have to have a strong adult rating for that channel. And there is the book pickup.
Yep, he knows exactly where he's going after he finishes this escape.
I think people in chat have already figured out what that word is going to be. Probably sprinkle it in with a few other adjectives in there too.
More than a couple. I'll put the over-under at 6.
Nice. I'll take the under.
Meanwhile, eLmaGus is making his way through Pod, making pretty quick work of that horrible, horrible room right there that gives a lot of people fits.
Oh, we found the shovel for eLmaGus. Wonder what he's going to dig up.
Oh, fetch quests, how I hate thee.
Do you want to fetch quest?
Not doing it again. Not gonna do it.
And that backfired for eLmaGus after he got bumped to the orb, but apparently the bomb caused the thing to go down twice. Nice!
That's...
And I don't think that was how it was written in the book, but it worked.
He'll take it.
And now SirNiko, time to head over to desert. Here's the question though. What else is in desert? Could SirNiko find out that for us because he does have the boots?
That could make it a big equalizer at this point in time if it ends up having another required item.
What if it has something like the lamp? Whereas eLmaGus doesn't, and therefore is searching this pod dark, although I know with his skills he can do it.
I think he can. I would be more interested to see if, it could be lamp, could be flute, it could be hookshot, it could be any number of things. Like I said, it would be very interesting if that second item ends up being one of the required items and pulls Nico into a completely different direction than eLmaGus is going right now.
Hammer jump time for eLmaGus.
And setting up this hammer jump is difficult to say the least, but he's got it.
Perfect. And also, by the way, he did pick up the ether.
Okay, so we know that the big key is going to have the small key on it.
And we get our first shield out of the Palace of Darkness big chest.
Fisher Price, my first shield.
eLmaGus is going to have to be careful in this room. I know he'd like to set up for a death warp, but being down to 2 hearts to make it 3 hearts, a little worrisome when you're trying to deal with the dark trying to find that final chest on the top right, top left of the room.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to do.
So final chest. Oh, just 20 rupees. So no big advantage for SirNiko having the boots in here.
Nope, no advantage there. That's unfortunate for SirNiko, but at least he's on the right path. He's going to run over, get his hammer, and likely follow in eLmaGus' footsteps here.
If he doesn't, he's going to go up to the northwest corner and tackle the Skullwood / Thieves Town.
That would be an interesting route divergence as we see eLmaGus go through Pod.
And so far, a shovel and ether, the items inside of this dungeon, and eLmaGus ends up taking a death, although I'm certain he didn't want to take that death at that point, but he does have a fairy in the bottle.
So we see SirNiko going over to Hype Cave and is about to be very disappointed.
He's going to go to Hype Cave and wonder why we even called it Hype Cave in the first place.
It's more like a Jerry Maguire cave.
Show me the money.
Exactly. I think SirMagus, or eLmaGus, forgot that he had silvers.
The question is, will he remember when he gets to the Helmisar King? Because that is where it's going to be more important. SirNiko about to go to the pyramid will pick up his bow and then probably think about going into the Palace of Darkness. Once again, these guys at this level of the tournament are definitely very skilled and they know exactly what they're doing with the dark rooms. Wait a second. Never mind.
Now, it is outside of logic, keep in mind. So, according to the logic, anything that they may find on Helmisor or in any of the dark rooms is supposed to be out of logic. So, haven't really found anything required.
Look at this strategy here. He's using the good bee to help him through this room.
I approve.
Unfortunately, the good bee runs away. However, that got a good portion of this room taken care of. Oh no. Uh-oh.
That's a death.
The bee helped, but not all that much. And eLmaGus is going to go say no for the remainder of this dungeon.
All right, so looks like we're going to see eLmaGus on his way over, probably to the other Dark World entrance, or not.
He hasn't checked the back 3 of Escape yet. So we'll soon pick up the Quake, the rupees, and the key. And we're going to probably go into another dark room. SirNiko here is going to probably do the same investigating of Palace of Darkness. Now, you see, remember earlier when eLmaGus lost the fairy in the bottle? That's why it was kind of huge that he did, because no longer did he have an insurance policy against the dark beetle room.
eLmaGus working his way through this dark room. So many dark rooms. Hoping to find the lantern soon, just for my sake, because I don't know what they're doing.
Don't worry, the lamp will be in Turtle Rock.
Seems legit.
And that's the only item that's going to be in Turtle Rock, too, so we're probably going to see a Dark Seed. So, to answer some questions, SirNiko is using a can of Sprite for his Sprite. eLmaGus, he did not get through the Palace of Darkness, ended up dying in the Dark Beetle Room. And we're going to find out what is inside this tree, because neither of these guys did earlier. And it's just rupees.
We've seen a lot of the 20 rupees. I mean, I know it's the most common item in treasure chests, but it still seems like we've seen an inordinate amount of them.
There's a whole bunch of them, so it doesn't surprise me that we're going to be finding him at some point. There's more 20 rupees in this game than there are pieces of heart. So you're eLmaGus. You ended up dying on your way to Halmasar. What's going through your mind at this point?
Well, with the distribution of items at this point in time, I feel like I've made some mistakes, and I'm probably behind.
Hold on.
Ooh,
We get a pedestal check coming up.
this could be big.
Seeing what the text down here is a rupee horde. Hell yeah.
Aww.
No pedestal required.
I had just started working on that on the side. What could possibly be on the pedestal? And nothing. I'm as disappointed as everyone else here. SirNiko looks like he's getting through. This looks like the darkroom maze, if I'm seeing his swipes correctly.
Yeah, it's the darkroom maze. And in and out. And eLmaGus out checking Skull Woods, a pendant dungeon. And I think it was a good decision for eLmaGus to go in and find out what was on the pedestal, because that tells how much you need to be invested in this Skull Woods.
Yep, you get your 2 items and then get out.
Unless it's the rare case where the boss has that final item, then, well, you can't get out that easily.
Mega's trying to do this bomb jump here.
Commenting on what chat's talking about, there is actually 2 items that get blocked by the lamp in Eastern. It's the one chest. Oh, hello. Interesting location for that thing.
Yeah.
Nearly vanilla. Actually, no, that's the ice rod. Nearly not vanilla. It's the opposite. That's chocolate.
Chocolate item in the exact opposite look. I like it. And yeah, as chat's pointing out, that might be an item you don't want to see. You probably also at this point in time don't want to see Fire Rod or Samaria, because it's going to start pointing you up into the direction of the Pendant Turtle Rock, which I don't think anyone really wants to do.
Well, there's the piece of heart right there, so that's all 3 items. Or both items, rather. So, as we were pointing out, eLmaGus ending up dying inside Palace of Darkness. We know it's not going to be something that would move the seed forward in regards to, like, the lamp, but it could be something important, like the Cane of Samaria, which we do need, because Palace or Misery Mire is a required dungeon.
Could see something important here. Nope, just a heart piece.
Well, of course it's going to be just a heart piece. They already got an easy cape.
Easy cape just means nothing important is ever up there, doesn't it?
93 out of 95 times.
That was a very precise number.
There's the Cane of Samaria.
Uh-oh.
Why are you going uh-oh for?
Okay.
We don't have the transmit yet.
Just saying.
We don't have the
Starting
mirror
to check
yet.
Things off the list. Starting to
We
check
don't
it off the list.
We don't have the hook shot yet. We don't have access to Turtle Rock yet. Unless we get it all here in this Thieves Town. Lamp!
Lamp.
And that's almost more kind of laughing at eLmaGus at this point.
He's probably going to head back there here before too long, certainly. If anything, for revenge.
So now the loophole has been closed, and SirNiko ends up taking a death in that same room. Only difference with him is that he does have the fairy, and we get the chirping noise. It happens. So here's the problem. These things, they hurt. And because he doesn't have enough magic, he can't use the ether medallion rather to help move this room along.
He's trying. Oh my goodness, he's trying.
He's got one clinked, but where is it? Oh, down to 2 hearts. 1 heart. There's one more at least.
No.
Nope, he gets hit. Dead. Both of these guys dying in the beetle room. So that kind of evens things out for both of these guys. Will SirNiko go to the finish? No, he's going to bow out just like eLmaGus did.
Probably going to try to find the lamp before he comes back into that. Don't necessarily blame him, but both of the runners have got to feel behind at this point.
I'm not sure what he's trying to dig for. Maybe is he trying to dig for magic at this point? It does seem to me like he's thinking about going back in. Yeah, he's going back in.
What?
Yeah, he's trying to dig for magic.
You know, you got to admire the perseverance, and we do know that SirNiko doesn't have a whole lot to lose at this point. He is 0-3 in group stage right now, so playing the spoiler role at this point.
Now, SirNiko, I thought I was going to do something. I think he's going to go down the right-hand side. Now, there is a fairy fountain over on that right side of the room where you could get yourself a couple of fairies, because he does have the bug catching net, as well as at least one spare bottle at this point.
Ooh, eLmaGus pulling half magic. It's a nice thing to have. Maybe not as nice with Turtle Rock being pendant, so we don't know if Trinex is going to be required, but still, nonetheless, nice.
SirNiko pulls out, didn't find any magic, wanted to get the magic in order to help him against the beetles, so he gives up on that pursuit and now is going to be heading. Where are you going to head to next? Oh, to Eastern. Did he check Shirashula yet? I don't think so. He'll be disappointed with his rupee hoard. Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did. He just opted away.
Who didn't? And eLmaGus going against Blind here and showing us an exhibition on how you fight this boss. Beautiful kill.
About as textbook as you can get in bombos.
Oh, baby.
That, okay, we don't quite have Titan's Mitts yet, but we're only Titan's Mitts away from access to Ice Palace, which might be the direction we end up going soon.
We're also a mirror plus a Titan's Mitt or a hookshot plus a Titan's Mitt away from access to that dungeon you're talking about.
I'm sure eLmaGus is hoping against all hope against that.
We know this is not a pedestal seed, but we know that Turtle Rock often has something nice in it.
Very often it feels like.
All right, digging game coming up here. Dig number 1 through 30 will have the item. Which dig do you think it's going to be? Vitasia?
I'm going for a late one, 25. How about yourself?
Going with 11. It wasn't 11. Yeah, it turned out to be 17. What a horrible reward it was.
That's about as disappointing a reward as you can hope for that.
So we know the third item is going to be behind the Armos Knights here in Eastern, plus it's the green pendant. Is it for anything important? It is for a piece of heart. What is the green pendant going to yield us? We'll find out soon enough.
It could be something important. Now, if it's something like Titan's Mist, this could be huge for SirNiko.
And believing at this point in time, eLmaGus is getting ready to go back into the Palace of Darkness, armed with the lamp that's going to make life a whole lot easier. Plus the fact that he also has half magic. So here's the answer. What does green pendant yield?
Drum roll.
Oh, the Titan's Mist! That is required!
Commentator's blessing. That is a huge gain for SirNiko. We'll wonder when eLmaGus decides to make that play, but wow.
SirNiko, I believe at this point, is about to make a path back into the Palace of Darkness, which is where eLmaGus is now, trying to get some revenge. And eLmaGus still has not switched on over to the Silver Arrows, which isn't important just yet, but again, the question is what will he do with the Helmistar Kings? By the way, that Titan's Mitt would give access for eLmaGus to that dungeon you were talking about.
Dare we say it out loud?
Ice Palace.
So we'll see eLmaGus with a little bit easier of a time this time around.
Yeah, he's going to be able to see where these things are, which is the worst thing about doing these in the dark. Nice strat here. This is beautiful. That's golden.
Yep, that's about as clean as you could possibly do that room.
SirNiko's going to be going back in here, but without the lamp. He will be doing this in the dark again. With 6 hearts, going to have to be careful a little bit.
eLmaGus doing good work against Helmasaur. Let's see if he remembers the silvers.
He does. There it is. Goodbye. And he was probably not using him to save the lag earlier, because he definitely showed that he knows about it here. And oh, the mirror!
That's important. So that is our access up to Death Mountain as well.
That is access to Death Mountain. And when eLmaGus gets the Titan's Mitt, when he goes through Eastern. Oh, this also helped. Oh, he's not going to go to Eastern. I was going to say this is going to help, because getting that mirror there means he could go to Eastern, but he's not going to.
That's unfortunate for eLmaGus. He's got to make a decision to go there soon, but with that mirror, it opens up a lot of other locations, so he's probably distracted at this point in time.
Oh, and we see SirNiko using the ether. He's through the beetle room.
Yeah, and eLmaGus is going right up to Death Mountain. He'll have full Death Mountain access. Not the Dark World Death Mountain, unfortunately, and we know where he needs to go. He just didn't make that decision. This could be big for SirNiko.
By the way, at this point, the only item now that we're really looking for, well, we are looking for 2 items, actually. The hookshot and the flute.
Yep, we are 2 items away from no mode.
And that's when we, as commentators in US chat, know everything that is needed to go into go mode. So what's on top of Spectacle Rock? Just 20 rupees. And there's the validation arrow, which is the single arrow, which is what you normally find in Palace of Darkness. So since that arrow has been found, we now can continue on this run because that arrow doesn't really mean all that much. And here's the problem with getting the mirror for SirNiko. Will this take him away from going into Thieves Town, which it could be where 2 important items are? Oh, there's the fire rod!
He's just waiting for his second sword. Now, the fire rod isn't necessarily required, but if you're looking at a pendant turtle rock and you think that something might be there, might be worth going over and grabbing.
You know, I was actually hoping not to see the big key there. It would have been so interesting to have to get that fire rod off the tablet in order to go downstairs in the basement to get the big key.
He's got lamp, though.
Never mind. And SirNiko is going to follow the path over to Death Mountain. And again, we know this path is not necessarily the one that SirNiko needs to take at this point.
So right now, we're waiting on when will eLmaGus end up going over to do Eastern to get the Titan's Mitts, and we're waiting for SirNiko to end up over in Thieves Town for the lamp, and what else did we find there?
The lamp was there, the bombos, which could be very important. The bombos will be less important when we find our sword upgrade, because then you can do then you can do Ice Palace. So yeah, we were mentioning what we need to be in no mode. We did forget about the whole aspect about needing a sword. And oh, that dead rock is in the horrible spot. Oh, by the way, I believe the second item is going to be down in the basement.
You believe so, huh?
Well, Moldorm's going to be dropping a key. eLmaGus has no key at this point. And he takes a fall.
Trolldorm. Troll harder.
All right, round 2. And you see eLmaGus is trying to do the hammer, because the hammer you can kill him in 3 hits versus the plastic sword, which we require 6. SirNiko getting the news about the whole fire rod thing. And so the basement is going to be required to get that second item. Here is the next question. What is in the basement? Is it going to be something important? eLmaGus has the lamp, as I erroneously thought he didn't have a fire source at this point. And eLmaGus going back in. And it's time for eLmaGus to go ahead and have a quick break as he watches, 17 tiles or so move across the floor. Battlestill is truly dead because it is a rupee horde. Hell yeah. And that's right, eLmaGus has not been back to the library to go grab his flippers. The stop that SirNiko is missing on his tour is going to be Thieves Town, which holds the lamp as well as the Bombos medallion. I don't know how important the Bombos medallion is going to be, but if it is required, it'd be nice for him to get in there. And it's just 20 rupees in the basement, so SirNiko is not going to miss out on all that much here.
Nope, and we'll see eLmaGus on his way over to the east side of Death Mountain, going to make use of the hammer.
And before he does that, he's going to see what's up on the island. And what's on the island is another 20 rupee. Because why not?
Not going to have many 20 rupees left over in Ganon's Tower by the time we get there, huh?
Oh, don't worry. They'll all be replaced by blue rupees. SirNiko getting very lucky the fact that Moldworm hit didn't send him into the pit. Instead, set him diagonally, which made it so he didn't have to fall 2 floors.
That could have been disastrous for SirNiko, but sometimes luck has a little bit to do with it here.
So there's a big difference between these two runners. eLmaGus is going to only be able to check the paradox of these 7 chests. SirNiko is going to be able to check everything up here with the exception of the 3 chests in the hookshot cave.
Looks like SirNiko is going to go over here, maybe taking a look to see what the Turtle Rock is going to hold for him.
Well, it makes sense at this point. And there's a kill of the 2 of the 3 mini Moldworms. And in case we need it, it is Quake for Turtle Rock, and we find our first male upgrade inside the Paradox Cave. eLmaGus is going to go check what the shovel yields.
Interesting. It's been a while since we've gotten the shovel, so could have something important here.
Blue cane found for SirNiko, and that combined with the half magic for eLmaGus, or with the bottles that SirNiko have, means that Spike Cave is now open to us. And time to check that 1 chest.
This could be big.
Actually, we already had the cape, so never mind. eLmaGus finally getting the flippers. Not that flippers yielded anything truly for eLmaGus, but we do need them at some point in time in this run.
Interesting that he picks them up now. It might indicate where he's going next.
Well, we know where eLmaGus needs to go. That answer is eastern. But eLmaGus is not going to go that direction. Instead, eLmaGus is heading towards the desert.
Well, he does have everything to go ahead and complete the dungeon, so I don't necessarily fault him for doing it, particularly since it's the 5-6. He already has the other 5-6, so he may be looking at a Pyramid Fairy check after this.
Yeah, because eLmaGus is starting to run out of options. He really is starting to run out of options, and he doesn't want to poke his head into Eastern Palace, which SirNiko did to get a big advantage in this run at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why eLmaGus is avoiding that, but we know he's got to go there eventually in this run.
Yeah, the optimal time for eLmaGus to do it would have been right after he got the mirror out of Palace of Darkness.
I'm worried that because he already had a plan in his head and didn't adjust based on that.
Oh, look, our Sprite turned into Pepsi.
I didn't know caffeine added that much extra protection to you, but sure.
It's all that corn syrup and carbonated water.
I can dig it.
SirNiko making the play for Skullwoods Land Thieves Town. Probably Thieves Town is probably the next destination for SirNiko.
That's going to be a little bit important there for SirNiko. Oh, goes up to Skull Woods.
Yeah, you know how the rule is in version 26 and version 27. If Skull Woods is a pendant, you want to poke your head in there and make sure that you pull out the items because they could be important.
Traditionally, it's a pretty quick check. Only 2 items here, and you can, the chest density is pretty quick, all things said. I don't recall if there was anything terribly important, though.
Well, that depends if whether or not we need to go to Trinex.
Oh, that's right.
And eLmaGus missing on one of the silver arrows, but a whole lot better than a lot of us are in this fight. So there's the ice rod pickup for SirNiko.
I forget, did SirNiko check and know what is on that ether tablet? So he knows what the fire rod.
He did. Both of these runners know that that's the fire rod up there on that tablet. But we need a sword upgrade before they can pull that. So eLmaGus finding out that he's going to have to traverse over to the right-hand side of the desert to get that second item, which we all know is not going to be anything that he wants to see. But it is a case where, hey, I don't want to let it by because it could be something important.
Yep, he's just searching around, hoping that he overlooked something at this point. You know where he's got to go. Doesn't want to let anything possibly go by. I have a feeling he's going to try to check Pyramid very immediately after this, though.
He's probably going to check Catfish, and then after that, you've got loose squares. Eastern is where you need to go. So SirNiko is coming over here. This isn't to beat the dungeon because he can without the fire rod. That's because he wants to check the pedestal, and well, you can't check the pedestal from there, buddy.
Yeah, that little bump right there gets me too every now and then. So we'll see. SirNiko's going to be disappointed with the Rupee Horde.
Disappointed or happy? I think it's more happy. I don't have to come back here to Skull Woods. There's no reason to come back.
True. Oh, so eLmaGus is actually checking these overworld mirror locations, south of Grove, and probably the graveyard ledge before too long as well.
King's Tomb as well. Because he does has access to it via the gloves and the mirror.
He does not have the gloves.
He does have
the mirror. Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay.
Well, actually, you don't need the power glove to get that, but hey, you'd have to go all the way back around. Anyway, so here's the story with what eLmaGus needs to do. Not this. Although this could still be important. We are still looking for, 3 items at this point that are necessary for Go Mode. We are looking for the hook shot. We are looking for the flute. And we're looking for a sword upgrade.
I think our runners are less interested in the sword upgrade just because of the number that are available. But that hook shot and that flute are going to be very important.
Ten arrows above the graveyard ledge. And the Pyramid Fairy has a piece of heart. And the hook shot required.
That's going to be important. Unfortunately, that's going to point eLmaGus in a very specific direction here down to Swamp. And that's not where he needs to be going.
Oh, I thought for a moment there eLmaGus was actually going to do it. He was going to go for Eastern. That is not the case. SirNiko about to get the Cane of Samaria. So eLmaGus is going to be heading over to Swamp because that's where he feels the seed is telling him to go. And as you're right, there are multiple sword upgrades, but you do know that you need a sword upgrade to defeat the pig, and you don't want to leave a sword behind in a dungeon and have to try and go back to it because you don't know where the other ones are.
So SirNiko is going into Thieves Town. We know he'll pick up the lamp here directly.
A lamp pickup for SirNiko. Again, we know that the Bombos is going to be at blind. That could push SirNiko into Ice Palace. eLmaGus has a very defined place where he can go at this point. If there's nothing inside this swamp, then he's pretty much relegated to having to go into Eastern. In fact, this is the only other dungeon he can finish at this point.
Now, if he ends up finding Flute, I think that could be the worst thing for eLmaGus at this point in time, because it will still route him over to Mire, which, I mean, is nice. It's another dungeon that is going to be required for him. But again, it's avoiding the Titan's Mitts, which we know he needs to get.
He can't even go into Mire.
Oh, right. Right. Okay.
Because no matter what the case is here, eLmaGus is going to be out of options come the end of this dungeon. There's nowhere else he can go at this point. So eLmaGus after he's done with this dungeon is pretty much forced into going into Eastern, clearing that out and getting the pendant.
You're right. I stand corrected.
He may check a couple other things before he gets there, especially depending on what items he may find in here. But the only item that really could send him off awry would be the magic powder or the mushroom, and those are one-offs.
eLmaGus is avoiding the left side of Swamp as well, which might be a risky play, but we'll see if it pays off for eLmaGus. I mean, we know where he needs to go, obviously. It is worth noting that while we know where eLmaGus has to go, he hasn't really been wasting any time running around trying to search for locations here and there. He's been making good use of the time that he has been doing up to this point, searching around and at least clearing the dungeons out that he needs to. So while we know where he needs to go, it's not a time waste, so it's not as big of a deal as maybe we've been making it out to be. We just hope that he doesn't waste too much time after this.
A lot of that comes down to Randomizer is being able to route yourself efficiently and being able to take things when you absolutely need to. Try to not backtrack. Now, we know both of these runners are spectacular runners. They had to be part of this pool of 40 runners that made it to this stage of the tournament. So they know how to execute. They know how to route by far. So what eLmaGus is going through here is more of a, this is not how he wants to spend his time type of thing. And there's the Bombos pickup for SirNiko and the crystal picked up, which puts them on even terms for about 5 seconds for the number of crystals. Actually, no, eLmaGus has more crystals, never mind. That's 5 crystals for eLmaGus.
Yep. We'll see if SirNiko can make up some time right now. This would be where SirNiko makes up the time if eLmaGus is spending a lot of time searching around for the Titansmiths.
Well, the thing is, SirNiko is going to be able to route this Village of Outcasts search with getting the dwarf back to his home, which is something that eLmaGus can't do, and also checking the Peg Cave.
If that ends up leading to the flute, it would certainly be a big deal for SirNiko.
So SirNiko doing the digging game. We already know where the dig is going to be this time. eLmaGus checking the left-hand side of the swamp. Is it going to be required? We haven't seen anything that was required in this swamp yet, have we?
Nope, it's not been a whole lot of anything up to this point in time.
And SirNiko lifting up the rock. He will be doing the frog tour now. All right, here's the first of the checks for SirNiko. This is going to be the Peg Cave, and let's see what's inside. And inside, we find...
Ooh.
Oh, there's our sword upgrade.
I think that's slightly important at this point in time. Think of all those bosses that eLmaGus has done before SirNiko that he's had to use fighter sword techniques for.
This all also opens up our good old friend, the Fire Rod. And you know where Fire Rod gets you in.
Uh-oh. Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock, Skullwoods, Ice Palace. I mean, I don't think he's going to do Skullwoods because we know pendants are required.
And he already pulled out both of the items, so we know that there's nothing of value for him. That does now make it so we are down to the flute for no mode. And just bomb. So nothing good at all in Swamp. So if SirNiko puts off Swamp, he'll be able to go mode it. And that'll be very important for him.
Go moding Swamp saves about half the time it normally does than going back and checking everything. So that's really important for SirNiko at this point in time. eLmaGus.
Where's eLmaGus going? Oh, I don't know.
Bike Cave?
Oh, right. Spike Cave.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's interesting at this point in time.
That's the only thing he can check. He's now down to doing one-offs.
This is where SirNiko makes up his time, right here.
SirNiko's going to go ahead and check the Bombos tablet for us. And then probably head right into the desert. Oh, oh, it's the Sanctuary Heart in the Spike Cave. Always interesting when that pops up there.
And have an immediate save quit. Oh, that's unfortunate.
And the Bloomerang is found at the Bombos, and now SirNiko's going to go finish desert. Which we know he needs to do because that opens up the Pyramid Fairy, which is where the seed needs him to go. eLmaGus is going to... Graveyard Ledge. That's where eLmaGus is going. Graveyard Ledge, and then check over to King's Tomb, and then Catfish.
Yep, he's doing these kind of one-offs and trying to route things together as efficiently as he can. We know where he's got to go at this point in time. No more dungeons are available to him.
Except there is one dungeon that's available to him.
The one he needs to go to.
The one he needs to go to, that's right. And when he picks up the Titansmith from Sarashla, what do you think is going to be going through his mind?
Oh, he's going to know he's behind. I mean, he won't even think that he might be behind. I think at that point, you have to know that you're behind. Now, SirNiko put off going to Thieves Town as well. We'll see. It's going to be close once these two runners end up getting their required items. We'll see. The flute is kind of our last unknown item, and I'm banking at this point it's in Turtle Rock.
You really want it in Turtle Rock, don't you?
I really do. It's one of those dungeons that I love, and I do an early dive probably more than I should.
Well, you know how it is in version 27. If you want to go from Turtle Rock to Ganon, screw that, because I don't think so. And of course, Turtle Rock being a pendant dungeon just adds more of the not wanting to go in that doll. So the question is when these routes converge, where will these two be?
That is an excellent question. SirNiko is making up time very quickly, getting all these crystals. I think they might converge right around the time SirNiko is getting through Swamp, unfortunately.
You know, the thing is, eLmaGus isn't really, if you think about it, if eLmaGus makes the play for Eastern very, very fast, he won't be that far behind. Think
Not
about
really,
it.
no.
Eastern's not a long play.
It's not. It's just a matter of making the realization that that's the play to make.
All right, Catfish, show us your wares. That's just a single rupee. That sucks.
That's about the most insulting thing you can get from the catfish.
Oh, eLmaGus. eLmaGus. Okay, just wanted to make sure that that was what he thought it was up there on the Zora ledge, because I knew he got up there.
Uh-oh, okay, he's in the right location. Does he...
Take the turn. Take the turn. Here we go.
It looks like it.
eLmaGus has no other options at this point. And again, take a look at the dungeon that eLmaGus has finished that SirNiko has not, other than Eastern. That's Swamp Palace, and depending on how SirNiko plays Swamp Palace, when he goes in there, will make a big difference on how this race turns out to be. This could eLmaGus could still, for all we know, have the lead.
Yeah, I always like to use the term advantage until we're in go mode, simply because we don't... lead is so...
It's so hard to determine
misleading.
a lead.
Yeah,
it's hard to determine a lead in any randomizer, whether it be this randomizer, or Super Metroid, or Zelda 1 or Zelda 2. There's no defined leader until you have everything that you need to go into a go mode.
absolutely. So we'll see. SirNiko's making kind of an interesting routing choice here.
He is going to go pick up his fire rod. He's going to go into Hookshot Cave. And I think the next question for that would turn out to be, where do you go after that? Do we see the Turtle Rock play? Because here's the thing. We don't know who's going to be leading this race until we find out where this flute is.
Yep, it's going to be about checking these locations. Even as we're praising eLmaGus for making the right play that he needs to do right at the moment, until we find the flute, we really don't know. These two could be running all over the place searching for that one lost item.
And we do know at this point that SirNiko will be able, well, both of these runners will be able to go mode Misery Mire. Watch the big key being the annoying spot, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, go moding Misery Mire isn't necessarily, you get the big key and you go, but the big key control you either way.
Just like the Dead Rocks.
Dead Rocks. And I think we do see SirNiko making that Turtle Rock play. This, I mean, if the flute ends up being in Turtle Rock, this could be big.
I'm thinking SirNiko's going to go open it up and then check the 3 of the hookshot cave first. Because if he doesn't have to go into Turtle Rock, he's going to avoid it.
I think that would be smart routing there.
And we do know that SirNiko picked up the fire rod. We already saw it earlier because they both read the text on the medallion, or the tablet rather, that said that it was there. So SirNiko picking it up there is an absolutely no surprise. He is going in.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I would have surprised.
I would have checked Hookshot Cave first before going through to this. SirNiko may think he is behind at this point and playing as if he's doing that. And here's the thing: if Flute's here, SirNiko go modes Ice Palace, SirNiko go mode Swamp. That's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, I mean, he's making the risk that it's here. If it's not here, then he's absolutely behind, and he'll know he's behind. He may be making the presumption that he's already behind and needs to take a risk.
Maybe thinking that this game gave you an ice rod for a reason.
The seed doesn't do that, does it? Ever?
No. Not at all.
Nope, never.
Nice setup with the small keys, though, I'll tell you that. So eLmaGus is probably about a minute away from picking up his Titansmith from Sarashla. Once after he knocks off these Armos Knights and brings that green pendant over to Sarashla, he will have that. So this race becomes a first to Flute. And take a look at that kill. You can't get much better than that.
Nope. Chat makes an interesting point, and I'd like to repeat it if I could. You know, eLmaGus avoided doing this pendant dungeon like the plague. If the flute is here and located in Turtle Rock, based on eLmaGus's play up to this point in time, do you think he'd avoid Turtle Rock like the plague too?
I think eLmaGus will go into Ice Palace before he goes into Turtle Rock. There's the Titansmith for eLmaGus, and no Fury Slashes from eLmaGus. It's still work to do. We know the island here in Turtle Rock is going to have the big key. We have seen nothing but small keys so far, which is very interesting. And eLmaGus is making the play for Ice Palace. One of these two is going to be making a play that wins in the race.
eLmaGus has a little bit of an advantage because he has went ahead and completed Swamp.
But eLmaGus will not be officially in Go mode just yet because of the sword upgrade thing.
Yep, we shall see. It is worth noting, eLmaGus is still running around with just a fighter sword. Ice Palace fighter sword isn't fun. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, but he's got the hook shot for the Pent Gators. He's got bombos. That's going to help him out unless he plans on going all the way to Cold Stare. So SirNiko heading over to the Mimic Cave. This again is huge. First one of the flute pretty much has the major advantage. That's blue for eLmaGus, but it's bombs. And inside Mimic Cave, a bomb upgrade.
This has been just kind of I'm not going to call it a terribly trolly seed, but it certainly pulled these runners in varying directions. Hasn't given them a ton of guidance either way, has it?
No, it has not. What's in the big chest? A map. Here's a bad feeling. You have 2 keys, which means you could avoid the laser room if you wanted to, but you still are looking for something important.
Yeah, you don't skip laser room. We've seen too many times in this race the laser room holding the absolute required item.
That's a heart container right there. Again, want to point this out. First to the flute has the major advantage in this run.
Both runners searching different locations for it. SirNiko taking the risk on Pendant Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, eLmaGus is going through the other crystal dungeons.
What if Trinex has the flute?
Oh my. That would be huge for SirNiko and horrible for eLmaGus.
All right.
Oh!
There's the flute right there! Laser bridge coming up huge for SirNiko. And the magic powder for safety.
That does it. SirNiko is officially in go
And
mode.
the mushroom! And is there going to be a sword upgrade there? No, it's just our container. SirNiko at 1 hour, 21 minutes is in
Go mode. And we've seen eLmaGus avoid pendant dungeons already in this race. That is huge for SirNiko. Absolutely in go mode. Gonna turn this flute in. He'll be able to go mode Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, and Misery Mire. He's in a very solid position right now over eLmaGus, even though eLmaGus is only going to have one dungeon left to complete.
At SirNiko going ahead and activating the duck. eLmaGus finding nothing good inside of this Ice Palace, just like he did in Swamp. The reluctancy of going into Eastern was huge for eLmaGus. And then on top of it, SirNiko making the play into Turtle Rock. So that means that Fire Rod was required.
I'm trying to figure out what SirNiko's doing, turning everything in.
Does he not know he's in go mode? May he be buying some safeties? I don't know. It may be just a case I'm going to go ahead and turn it in. I'm heading here to buy some potions anyway.
Yeah, yep. He might just be looking for that Cheeto sword is what I'm getting out of some people, which I don't necessarily blame him. Master Sword Ganon, even with silvers, is still not a fun fight per se.
And he may check Myers' shed. He's not going to check Myers' shed. He's just going to go grab that Bombos, which we got off the Blind and Thieves Town. And he's going to pop right on in. So far, we've seen only one sword upgrade. SirNiko has it. That is in the Peg Cave in eLmaGus. Hopping on down, going to see what's inside this big chest. Just a key. Get ready for Fighter Sword Cold Stare.
Oh man, do you think he switches to hammer at that point?
I think he switches to hammer.
He has half magic, but he doesn't have fire rod.
Yeah, that's the huge thing right there. He's going to be able to bombos the first hit, and he'll probably switch. There he goes to the hammer. If there's a runner I know who could handle a hammer cold stare, this is eLmaGus's. Get him over in the corner. There we go. Get at least a couple of hits on him.
They're running free now. This is going to be a little bit difficult for eLmaGus.
Right, I get the concern here for eLmaGus. I just think he won't have an overall problem. Gets one of them down. Being very patient, being more defensive than aggressive here, which is the strategy you want to do with the hammer strats. Because if they start bodying you, just like they just did right there, you're in a lot of trouble.
No potions for eLmaGus either, right?
2 down. Yeah, I think he's potionless.
Ooh. There it is.
And we got it taken care of. And I will be right back. You take it away for this. Oh, sword upgrade on Cold Stare.
That's a kick in the teeth right there for eLmaGus.
And I'll be right back.
Well, he's not terribly worried about a sword upgrade, but SirNiko has his big key and is go-moding this. eLmaGus still looking for that flute. We know where he's got to go again, but as we pointed out earlier, he seems to avoid these pendant dungeons, and it's going to hurt eLmaGus in the process. We'll see where Magus decides to go at this point in time. He has the Titan's Mitt. Maybe checking Jeremiah at this point in time. Of course, Fire Rod is up, located on the Ether tablet. And eLmaGus knows that. He will be able to go up there if he so desires at that point in time. So he's gonna get a tempered sword, which will be nice for his last place that he has to go. It's unfortunate. The only other dungeon, because he's already checked pedestal, so he knows nothing's there. He can't do Misery Mire without the flute. The only dungeon that he has left to really clear out is going to be Turtle Rock, and he is checking everything and anything, trying to avoid that. Nico, meanwhile, Silver Arrow's Vitreous is a night and day difference between what the Vitreous fight normally entails.
eLmaGus is going to be checking the Peg Cave, and that's going to yield him his third sword upgrade.
Yep, he's going to be looking forward to that. SirNiko clearing out Vitreous, so he's only got Swamp and Ice Palace.
And he got a sword upgrade off Vitreous, so that means he's going to have Butter Sword when he gets done with Cold Stare.
Wow, that's going to make everything quite a bit easier once he gets there.
And we won't see the routes converge until eLmaGus gets the flute. But he needs to go into Turtle Rock soon.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for eLmaGus. SirNiko is in go mode. He's going to be able to go mode Swamp and Ice, which are the two dungeons you absolutely want to be able to go mode. eLmaGus still searching around. As soon as he finds the flute, he'll be able to get there. This one is going to come down to the wire.
And at this point, what does eLmaGus have left to check? After he gets done checking this Bombos tablet.
I really don't think he has anything else he can do. I think he's going to be forced to go up there to Turtle Rock. We know that Skullwoods doesn't have anything left.
And the Pedestal Dream is dead.
And we see eLmaGus looks like he's heading up that way.
Reluctantly, but this is the move he needs to make.
Do you think eLmaGus is going to take away from this map that maybe Pendant Dungeon should be checked a wee bit sooner than the last possible thing you can do?
I think this is just a case where eLmaGus, as we remember in version 27, yeah, same with version 26 in the past, you can't discount pendant dungeons, especially if you have access to them. So eLmaGus will go ahead and pick up his fire rod off the ether tablet. SirNiko getting the key and just moving a little fast. Now, this is where we've been seeing eLmaGus's ability to move around and just be able to kill things at will. That's come into play for him. So eLmaGus is probably about, I'd want to say about 3 or so minutes away from getting this flute. Maybe a little bit longer, depending on how long it takes for this ride.
I mean, it is very close at this point in time. Without eLmaGus, absolutely being in go mode, it'll be very difficult to know exactly where he's at in compared to SirNiko. But SirNiko's about to finish his go mode swamp. We'll be able to go mode Ice Palace, which should be very quick compared to eLmaGus's.
And eLmaGus is going to go check Hookshot Cave, probably Super Bunny too, because he didn't have access to it earlier.
Still looking for those overworld locations, trying to avoid it if at all possible. Again, I don't blame him. They're high percentage plays with a lot of density in those locations, but not the play we need him to make.
Normally it would be a great play to make. It's just what we know is the deciding factor. And Argus is down for SirNiko. Gets the heart container for his reward, and eLmaGus is stepping in to Turtle Rock.
We'll see how quickly he's able to go through here. Again, we know it's the first one on the laser bridge. I'm going to go out on a limb and say eLmaGus isn't going to spend any extra time checking those other locations.
Yeah, he's not going to get the mushroom. He's not going to get the magic powder. That is where he's going to go. It's just straight there. Get on out. Head on over. SirNiko heading into Ice Palace. He's going to have the Tempered Sword. He is going to have half magic. He's going to have Fire Rod for this Cold Stare fight. So this should be a less stressful fight for SirNiko than it was for eLmaGus.
Absolutely. Not only Fire Rod and Tempered Sword, but also being able to go mode this. He's going to be able to just get to the end as quick as possible. It's going to be about half as long as eLmaGus spent in Ice Palace.
And eLmaGus is going to go check the places like the Mimic Cave first.
Yep, it's not going to be a direct straight line route there. He's going to completely clear Turtle Rock. It's unfortunate that Flute was so deep in there, but again, that's the nature of Rando.
And let me just say this. If you're talking about a player whose execution wasn't strong, SirNiko wins this race by half an hour easily. eLmaGus here, we're talking about a high caliber, great execution player like eLmaGus, and you're seeing that this is still a tight race.
Absolutely. That's, there's two real qualities in any sort of race like this, routing and execution. And eLmaGus is one of the best when it comes to the execution portion.
And we see a Pepsi can disappear twice. Make it 3 times.
There we go.
And that's the tough thing about playing as a sprite like the can that SirNiko is. You have to get used to the positioning for the bomb physics again.
Everyone has a little bit different. I think if you use the sword as your positioning, it wouldn't change at all, but using things like your shadow, which a lot of people use, changes it up quite a bit.
The shadow and using the top of your head do come into play. Oh, eLmaGus is going to gamble that the mimics are not going to be required. Oh, never mind. It's just checking the big chest. So, SirNiko heading up against Cold Stare. Final boss. Let's use some bombos. And go ahead and just twirl our Cheeto sword.
This is going to be quick. He's got him in the corner there. That's very nice work by SirNiko.
And he's using cape strats as a safety and gets Cold Stare down, gets his butter. All right, time to start doing the guessing game because SirNiko, picking up his final crystal, is about to go into Ganon's tower. We like to do a thing here. Take it away.
Thank you so much, sir. There are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's tower. The big key could be in any one of those 22. Get your guesses in 1 through 22. If you're a subscriber or have donated 250 bits to the channel, we will track your progress as well. 1 through 22, where is the Ganon's Tower big key?
I do want to point out that that is amongst the 4 channels. It doesn't have to be directly to this channel. If you're sub to any of these speed gaming channels or have donated 250 bits collectively amongst the 4 channels, that qualifies you for that leaderboard.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Adirondack Rick, where's your guess going to be here?
Number 12. eLmaGus gets the flute in go mode.
Yep, and he nopes out of there pretty quickly. Number 12, that's a good one. You know what? I'm feeling like it's an early seed. This one has yanked these guys around. I'm going on the torch, number 3.
Number 3, you say? Huh. Well, we're going to go ahead and find out. We do track this based on the number that SirNiko comes in across the chest. So whatever his route is the numbers that we're going to be opening them up. Here we go. So SirNiko going into Ganon's tower. eLmaGus is just a misery mire away.
Yep. And eLmaGus is getting ready to go that direction. He's going to try to get through this as quickly as possible.
And chest number 1 is a small key. And chest number 2 is the piece of heart. SirNiko is going to go ahead and check the right-hand side after getting a small key.
All right, so full right side check. It's become a more popular check, I've noticed, in this open mode tournament than it was in the standard mode race in the spring.
Thing is during the tournaments here between the two, you've noticed that a lot of decisions, people have come up with different sort of routes based on what other people are doing. So it makes total sense. SirNiko getting ready to check chest number 3.
Nope.
Number 4. 5. Hey, we get some Coke.
Coke and a riot shield. I thought Pepsi got in trouble with the riot shield earlier this year, didn't they?
I don't know. We're not going to go there.
Fair enough.
We got a race to call. That was chest number 6, by the way. Off to number 7. Those are bombs. No.
Bob lives, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. What do we got in number 8? Small key. Number 9. What's in it?
piece of heart here.
Number
10
10.
is bombs.
What about 11?
Getting all the keys here.
Let's head over to number 12. Well, that bomb too.
So we do have a question in chat asking about the Bob reference. So here's a funny little trick. Is the item that's on the torch, if you do not get it, it changes what the anti-fairy looks like right before you drop down into the Ice Armos location. And that has been kind of nicknamed Bob for whatever reason.
And we're going to go find it in about 5 chests if SirNiko doesn't find the big key soon. 13. Just 50 rupees. Randomizer room. And why do we call it the randomizer room? Because, hey, you don't go to this room in the regular run. Why do you want to go into this room in randomizer? Well, because it might have something good in here. Number 14 is going to be the first one. What's in there?
Compass.
15.
300 rupees. And a couple arrow upgrades.
17. So we are going to go see this elusive Bob. We have 4 more chests left to go before it is in the ever so great tile room.
Meanwhile, eLmaGus is about to start his vitreous fight.
So, what chest are we coming upon now with the Bob chest?
I think this is 19, isn't it? No,
Actually,
18.
no, that'd be 18, yeah. 18 is 20 rupees. Everyone in chat is a counter. They know what number we're on. And we're going to say goodbye to the Armos Knights for the second time this run.
Let's see what we have. 19, 20, and 21.
19, no. 20, yes. It is in chest number 20. So if you pick number 20, you are going to be our winner today. Vidacia, what does our winner get today?
Our winner today will, tell you what, we'll give you whatever's in the validation chest if we check it.
AKA the final chest. So congratulations to those who ended up on the leaderboard for this run. We got another run coming up later on today if you want to try it again at 3 p.m. Eastern. Back to the race, SirNiko.
Hey, thank you so much, Schlecky, for the subscription.
SirNiko now going up the Ganon's tower, making his way up. Soon we'll head into the gauntlet. eLmaGus has got to be feeling behind at this point, just based on how everything has been going for him this run.
Yep, SirNiko made 2 amazing gambles to do the green pendant, and then that just going into Turtle Rock with so many other options and paying off for him. Those were the differences in this race.
Yeah, SirNiko currently with a huge time advantage now as the routes have now converged. eLmaGus about to go into Ganon's tower.
So SirNiko going through this gauntlet here. eLmaGus just opening up. There's a unit of measurement that's been growing in popularity in the community. How far behind is eLmaGus? Well, we start using something called Ganon Falls as a unit of measurement. And right now, SirNiko or eLmaGus is probably 3 to 4 Ganon Falls behind or ahead of eLmaGus.
Let's not wish that upon any of our players, though.
No, we certainly don't.
Really be bad if we end up having to have a run to be determined by that. It's happened before, though.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Kuritan, with the 1,000-bit donation. My goodness.
No. That's 25,000 bits, by the way.
Oh, 25. Woo!
Anyways, we do appreciate it, and Speed Gaming also does appreciate it here, and I hope you guys enjoy the run. eLmaGus now going through the right-hand side. If he does decide to go all the way to the Armoses, that would help him out, but that's going to be very, very difficult. Maybe. It's going to be a tough decision to make. But based on the fact that he just grabbed that mirror, he's going to go the route that SirNiko went.
Yep, it's going to be unfortunate for eLmaGus.
Just came down to SirNiko checking Turtle Rock a lot sooner, and also the whole thing about Eastern. If eLmaGus checked Eastern and ended up going into Turtle Rock a lot sooner, this would be a blowout here for eLmaGus, just based on the way he's been kind of moving around. He's really caught up. He checked a whole lot more. You're probably going to see that if we get to the very end, the amount of chests checked and the fact that eLmaGus is only about 3-4 minutes behind.
Yep. Magus has done an amazing job with his routing, with his execution, but the routing choices and the gambles that SirNiko made has made all the difference in this particular race.
Sometimes it just comes down to luck. eLmaGus had, for 2 of the cases, SirNiko takes a fall to the Moldorm 2. Sometimes it comes down to that. Sometimes it comes down to gambles. And if you're finding items in the very last positions that it can possibly be in, it does not end well under a lot of circumstances. SirNiko finishing off Moldorm 2. What is in that final chest that is the prize today? It turns out to be undiscovered. So here's the thing that I like to do. If neither runner picks up that chest, then nobody gets a prize.
Sounds fair to me.
But we do this just in fun. These guys are going to go ahead and finish off these runs. This is still a legal run. There's nothing that's been violating any rules of this run here. They don't need to check that chest. There's no reason to check that chest if you're SirNiko or eLmaGus. But if you are going to talk Dairy Queen, I'll take a milkshake.
Ooh, I like blizzards.
SirNiko done with Aga 2, heading off to Ganon.
Yep, Butter Sword, Red Mail. You picked up some potions earlier, silvers. This should be no problem for SirNiko. We do see eLmaGus about to pick up the big key after this Ice Armos fight.
So, Ganon coming up here. And eLmaGus is about to pick up the big key.
Is it just me, or is Ganon flashing red a little bit more? Is that part of the palette swap?
Yeah. Especially considering the fact that SirNiko's playing as a red can at this point.
You know what? As much as I disliked seeing a can of Sprite as a Sprite, a shout out to our Sprite animators and creators. That's actually very nicely done, and to get it to work in Legend of Zelda, it just looks amazing.
Anyway, SirNiko here. I think he's coming up to his final hit. Coming up. Gets him into the corner. Oh, he takes a fall!
Ooh, okay, there's one.
He gambled. He gambled on the double hit. and now has to do the fight all over again.
Oh wow, that's ooh.
And this is probably going to tilt SirNiko at this point. This really is going to tilt him.
You still don't see a dot done if you're SirNiko. You're probably panicked at this point.
Yeah, you can tell based on the fact that he just fell off the pyramid right there. He is nerved. He is now tilted. Unbelievable. eLmaGus
We'll
now
see.
done with the Lamolus. Still the lead SirNiko is, but cannot take another fall.
Getting in all the hits right now on Ganon.
Oh, taking some hits here to Ganon too. Remembers that he does have the blue goo.
And he's out of potions now. I think he only bought 2 at that point in time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He bought 2 potions earlier, but he traded in the mushroom. And again, he knows he's up against a great opponent. He's probably wondering, how in the world am I not seeing a dot done yet?
Well, he also knows that he made some pretty good gambles at this point, so probably certainly wondering where that dot done is. But
But you gotta know, if you're playing eLmaGus, who can tear these seeds apart, probably thinking that eLmaGus is going to do the same exact thing. SirNiko getting Ganon with a double hit over there. That's beautiful. Get him up to the corner.
there it is.
Ganon is down. And SirNiko will wait till he walks to the door before this run is official. eLmaGus finishes off with the Boldorm 2. And SirNiko walking in through the door and finishes this run. 1:52:06, the official time on SRL. So congratulations to SirNiko. Oh, the windfish will wake soon. Nah, that's the first time I've seen that one.
I like that one myself. So everyone, the Sprite won this race.
Give it up for both of these runners.
Absolutely. SirNiko, eLmaGus, if these guys entertain you, go ahead, give them a like and a follow here on Twitch or their other channels. Meanwhile, also give a shout out here to our wonderful tracker while we have some time, Dustin, and of course Feasel, who does all the work with the restreaming on the main channels. Thank you so much, guys.
eLmaGus finishing off with Agata 2, heading off to his final battle with Ganon. Already knows his fate of this run.
And here we have SirNiko. Welcome, sir. GG. How you feeling after that?
Oh man, I am shaken.
We could tell that based on how your Ganon's Tower, the second half of it was, especially after taking the fall to Boldorm 2 and then the fall to Ganon.
Yeah, I was way too aggressive on Ganon. I should have just gone for 2 hits on that last cycle. I wanted to give you guys a race, so I decided to take some gambles.
Well, those gambles actually paid off, because taking the gamble into Turtle Rock ended up giving you the lead over eLmaGus.
I was thinking the whole time that normally when I play Randomizer, I watch Magus's stream a lot, and I watch his races to see how well he does, because not just for racing him, but I mean, he's just one of the best runners, so I watch him just to learn as much as I can. And this race, I said, to beat Magus, I have to do the things he will not do. And that seemed like that's not what he's going to do.
And 2 pendant dungeons being really required, in the sense of going into Eastern, getting the green pendant, and taking that for the Titan's Mitt, and finding the flute inside that Turtle Rock, as eLmaGus is finishing up. 1:54:42 is the official time on SRL.
Phew. That's
that
close.
race was very close. It was about 2.5 minutes, a little over 2.5 minutes. But you got to be feeling good about yourself here.
I am. I'm feeling really good that I wanted to get at least one win in this group stage, just so I can show that it's not a fluke that I got here.
Well, you took down one of the better execution runners in eLmaGus, so you take that win and smile proudly.
I think so.
So going through this race, what were your thoughts? Did you feel like you were ahead getting the Eastern Palace check and for the green pendant for the Titan's Mitts? Did you feel like you were maybe ahead of the curve at that point in time, or
when I found the bow, I was feeling really good because I figured, okay, this is a really important item, and this gives me a couple of areas I can check immediately in full clear. And I was feeling a little bit down on that Palace of Darkness. I just needed a little more magic, and those turtles would have been easy. But
let me add on to here one other thing that happened with eLmaGus. He died in that same room.
Wow. I felt bad about that turtle room because I felt like, oh, that's going to cost me so much. Wow, that's incredible.
And then you ended up going back in after trying to search for some magic.
I found Bo and I wanted to press that because I was gambling that maybe he didn't find that. Maybe he did the Village of Outcasts first, and I wanted to press that as hard as I could.
It was an extraordinarily good run, and the thing is that once you both had access to the Dark World, your paths completely just split up, especially with what happened in the Palace of Darkness.
Did he not do Palace of Darkness first? He probably did Outcast first?
No, he did Palace of Darkness first, but once he died, he hightailed it, and he went somewhere different, and then that's where the routes kind of just fell apart.
Yeah, because that mirror was big. When I saw that mirror, I thought, okay, I think I'm still in it.
We will say there for a while, you ended up getting the Titan's Mitt, and then eLmaGus had the lamp pretty early. So we were wondering when you guys would flop, and he was a little bit behind on the Titan's Mitt, but then you made the Turtle Rock gamble, and at that point you were go mode, and you could go mode Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, which he full cleared, still looking for that flute.
Let me ask you this. How nice did it feel to get the sword upgrades off Vitreous and Cold Stare?
Getting the Tempered Sword felt really good, partly because, of course, I really didn't want to do a Master Sword Ganon. I was also hoping there might have been some way that maybe that would have thrown Magus off somewhere, like he would have gotten Fire Rod and run off somewhere else. Or maybe not find a Tempered Sword. But then when I found the last upgrade, I'm like, oh, well, whatever, then I guess this is a free sword seed. Which is nice after my other runs where I didn't have any swords.
And think about this. All three of the sword upgrades were behind the Titan's Mitt.
Were they?
Yep, the second sword was behind the Titan's Mitt where the Peg Cave was, and then Ice Palace and Misery Mire.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice because when I was heading, I was thinking about doing Swamp Palace, and I figured, okay, I'll do Mire first because I know I can kill Vitreous easy. Because I really didn't want to do Swamp Palace, menu simulator, but turned out that worked out.
Yeah, eLmaGus unfortunately had to do 6 of the 7 dungeons with Fighter Sword, which, again, when looking for one last item in the flute plus Fighter Sword, I think that adds up to about the 2.5 minutes or so that really made the difference in the end.
Yeah, that was that would do a lot. Yeah, it felt really nice because I don't like doing Cold Stare without good equipment. I'm just not really good at that. So having a Tempered Sword made that feel real nice.
So this gives you 1 win in groups, and you may end up playing the spoiler role for eLmaGus. No one has more than 2 wins in the group as of yet. Lots more action, of course, in that group. You just wanted to get through here with 1 win, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I feel good about that one. I don't mind that I'm not advancing because really I feel that there's a lot of good players here, and I'm astonished I got this far. I was astonished I got through the qualifiers, and so I started getting serious about Randomizer. I started watching Magus' stream every day. I started doing a run every day to make sure that I stayed practiced up. I downloaded the practice ROM, and I was practicing all the tricks that I didn't know, practicing the laser skip to make sure I was good at that, practicing the bosses with low equipment, because I wanted to do my best. I wanted you guys to see good races.
And here joining us now is eLmaGus, sir. GG, how you feeling?
GG. I don't know. Kind of unfortunate how everything went, honestly. I think my route was okay, but in general, just like last item locations left and right, so.
As we're just getting the stats right now, 173 versus 156 for items checked. eLmaGus was 173, SirNiko with 156. That tells a big tale right there. But unfortunate that the mids were a late addition for you, and also late that the flute was almost a last chance saloon for you as well. Tell me your thoughts going into both of those items.
Mids was kind of like weird. I mean, the problem was I got the bow really early. It paid out in pod, and I was like, it's very unlikely that Eastern has something at that point, so I kind of left it behind. And I had the rest of the world left, so like usually you think, okay, mids have to be somewhere here. It's really unfortunate that they were in Eastern behind the green pendant, to be honest, because like normally 90% of the time I find them somewhere else. I'm good. Maybe 95% of the time. I don't know. It's like really unfortunate. The flute. That at that point, if it when it wasn't in ice, I was like, it's probably in TR, but like because like the fire was up there, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I still did the Dark World stuff first, just in case, because if the flute was in the village, that would have been a big time loss if I didn't do that first. So, yeah.
Right. It just was the case where SirNiko decided before going into the Swamp Palace and Ice Palace, he decided to check Turtle Rock, and there it was.
I see.
And really, the only reason why I did that was because I was racing against you, and I figured I need a lucky gamble to beat you, and it happened.
Okay, that's fair enough. Like I didn't even have the chance. I had the chance to do that though because I couldn't go into TR because I didn't have a sword. So that's another thing. I couldn't even do that because I got the mid so late.
Yeah, I think I was going to do it earlier because I knew where Fire Rod was from the first trip up, and I was thinking all I need is a sword, and if I get a sword, I will do that. Or no, maybe did I have Red Cane by then? Because as soon as I found all the items, I figured, you know what, I'm going to go give it a shot, because I have everything to get in there, and I need something lucky.
You had to get the sword in the village, though. There was only, like, the Master Sword and pegs. The other sword was on Cold Stare, and one sword on Vitreous.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you didn't have the Cane of Samaria until you went to the Village of Outcast, and you went back up to Death Mountain to claim that Fire Rod a little bit later on once you got through the Peg Cave. But the whole thing here, your execution pretty crisp there, eLmaGus. Your thoughts about the Fighter Sword Cold Stare?
I wasn't nervous or anything, just like I messed up a little bit, so I decided to finish with spins because that's safer for me. So like that, but I wasn't particularly worried about it or anything like that.
Well, eLmaGus, I have to ask you one more thing. This moves you to 0-2 in the group. You kind of have to win out and hope for kind of a three-way tie at this point in time. When's your next races? Are they coming up around the corner here?
The next one's on Wednesday. But like, I mean, I don't even feel like I lost both my races. That's the thing, because I feel like I probably. It sounds dumb, but I think I played better probably. It's just unlucky. So yeah, I don't feel too bad about my score. And I mean, at this point, I'm probably out because like it's really unlikely that there's going to be a three-way tie. But I mean, I feel like I've done my best and like, I did pretty well. So I'm a little bit sad, but you're really not mad or anything like that.
Yeah, at this stage in the tournament, it is going to come down to some luck combined with some execution, and that's the case when we get into this group stage, and it's going to be also the case when we get into the brackets coming up in the next round. So it happens, and all you can do is just bounce back and get into your next race.
Yeah, gotta pray now.
But GG for both of you guys. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I'll be watching your races and rooting for you, Magus. I want to see you do well. I want to see you get into the bracket stage.
Thanks, man. Yeah, same to you, I suppose. It's gonna be tough though for me. How was your score actually?
I'm actually down 3, so I'm not getting into bracket.
Ah. Oh, you already did all your races? Oh man.
Yeah, I did all my races. I wanted to get them done before Thanksgiving so I could watch your guys' races.
Dang. All right, fair enough.
All right, give both of these guys a GG. SirNiko, eLmaGus, thank you very much for this run.
And stay tuned. There's lots more randomizer action coming at you later today at 3 o'clock. We have the Spring Tournament's champion, Ben, is against Feral Pigman over on Speed Gaming 3. We also have later tonight Wolfie83 versus Zero Rush on the original Speed Gaming, and that's at 7 o'clock this evening. So stay tuned, guys. Lots of rando still coming at you today.
And that's not the only thing that's going to be going on Speed Gaming. There's something going on right now in Speed Gaming 1 that's going on now through 4 o'clock. I believe this is some competition type of thing.
Yeah,
the Ultimate Decathlon, the final qualification round, 10 different games. Right now they're working on Mario Kart Double Dash for the GameCube. A little bit later on, coming up on this channel, the Ocarina of Time Championship Series will be coming up at 3 o'clock at the same time that the next Link to the Past randomized race is going to be here over on Speed Gaming 3. We also have some secondary races coming up a little bit later on. In fact, one beginning in about 45 minutes from now between JJ Blue and Mujron Quipet. That's going to be over on A Link to the Past Randomizer 1, ALTTP Randomizer. That's beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern. So in about 45 minutes from now. So special thanks to Fiesel and the crew over at Speed Gaming, and special thanks to our tracker, who is Dustin. I am Adirondack Rick. Beta Sia, head us on out of here. Thank you very much for joining us. You take it away.
Oh, and I'm Vitasia. Thank you so much, Adirondack Rick, as well. To our runners, SirNiko, eLmaGus, everyone else. And thank you, chat, for making this so much fun for us. We'll see you in other randomizer action later today.
Have a great day.